Life itself follows a rhythm that is beyond our control. Often, we feel the need to rush through moments as if we are constantly chasing something. This can lead us into a cycle of frustration and anxiety. We put pressure on ourselves to find all the answers immediately, to achieve quick results without realizing that sometimes the real value lies in the process, not in the speed with which things happen. Every phase, every moment has its own time, and it's essential that we learn to respect this. As humans, we often forget to look around and understand that, just like nature follows its cycles, our lives are also marked by different stages and rhythms. However, modern society constantly pushes us to be fast, to pursue instant success, and this creates a constant tension within us. But life doesn't work that way. Sometimes, the wisest thing to do is simply trust in the flow of existence. Of course, it's not always easy. In fact, it's much more common for us to be swept away by the pressure than to find peace in the present moment. But the truth is, true freedom begins when we can trust life's process and stop trying to force things to happen the way we want them to. When we understand that there's a time for everything, we begin to see the beauty even in moments of pause. The first lesson many great teachers impart is about the importance of respecting life's natural rhythm. We can't rush the seasons, and the same applies to the stages of our own lives. Each one of them has a reason for being, and instead of fighting against this, we should learn to flow with it. True peace comes when we stop trying to rush things and accept that everything has its own time. Buddhism, in particular, invites us to look at life with more attentive eyes, without rushing, and trust that the right moment will come for everything, including ourselves. When we stop putting pressure on ourselves, when we cease to run against time, we can enjoy the lessons that time has to offer us, and by doing so, we'll see that the suffering caused by the pressure of not having immediate results starts to fade, and with it, the anxiety begins to diminish. The key is understanding that what is before us has its own reason for being. What we need to do is give space for things to unfold according to their own nature, in their own time. By doing this, we begin to feel a sense of peace in the present moment, and more than that, we start to feel gratitude for what we already have, rather than always chasing after more. Now, we can reflect on how we can apply this lesson in our everyday lives. It's not about waiting passively for things to happen, but about trusting the process and understanding that every step plays a role in the grand flow of life. When we rest in this trust, we begin to realize that everything we experience has a purpose, and this helps us face even the most difficult challenges with greater serenity. This is the moment to put into practice the idea that time is an ally. Instead of forcing events, we can give them space to unfold without rushing. Wisdom comes when we learn to breathe and wait for the right moment to act, rather than trying to rush everything to happen in our own time. Life is more than just reaching goals. It's about savoring each moment, respecting each phase and learning from it. When we accept this flow, difficulties start to be seen in a different light. Instead of seeing them as obstacles, we can view them as opportunities for growth. True transformation begins when we're able to look at time and realize that it's not our enemy, but a companion. It offers us the space we need to grow with serenity and confidence. I'd love to hear what you think about this perspective. Have you ever stopped to reflect on how rushing might be affecting your life? If so, share your thoughts with us in the comments. I'd love to know your experiences. And if you're enjoying this video and would like more content that helps us reflect on life in a peaceful and serene way, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. By doing so, you'll always stay updated on new videos filled with insights for your personal journey. Now let's move on to the second lesson. Life is not always easy and it's not always fair. Everyone faces challenges, whether they are personal, professional, or emotional. We all experience hardship, loss, and pain in various forms throughout our lives. In these moments, it can feel like we are alone in our suffering, as if no one else can understand the depth of what we are going through. However, when we take a step back, we realize that suffering is a shared human experience. It is an unavoidable part of life. What matters is how we respond to it. One of the most profound teachings of Buddhism is the acceptance of suffering. Instead of resisting it or wishing it away, Buddhism teaches us to acknowledge it and approach it with mindfulness and compassion. Suffering is not a punishment. It's simply a part of the human condition, and when we embrace it, we begin to see it as a tool for growth. The moment we stop trying to avoid pain is the moment we start to understand its true purpose. Pain is not meant to break us, but to shape us into more compassionate and resilient beings. This doesn't mean we should welcome suffering or seek it out. It means that when it comes, we can face it with a different mindset. When we stop fighting against it, we stop adding extra suffering to our already difficult situation. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" we can shift our mindset and ask, "What can I learn from this?" Every challenge, every painful moment offers us an opportunity to grow. It teaches us patience, empathy, and humility. In times of hardship, it is natural to feel overwhelmed. We may wonder how we will ever get through it, but one thing we must remember is that no pain is permanent. Every situation, no matter how difficult, will eventually pass. It's important to remind ourselves that change is constant, and the pain we feel now will eventually transform into something else, whether it's healing, strength, or wisdom. Buddhism teaches us to look at suffering as a teacher. When we face pain with an open heart, it can show us parts of ourselves that we may not have seen before. It challenges us to look deeper, to explore the roots of our suffering, and to let go of the attachments or expectations that might be causing unnecessary pain. Every experience, even the painful ones, is an opportunity to learn something new about ourselves and the world around us. We are not alone in our suffering. Everyone, at some point, goes through their own struggles. It can be comforting to remember that there are others who understand. This shared experience connects us, and through empathy and compassion, we can support one another in times of need. One of the most beautiful aspects of human connection is the ability to show kindness and understanding when someone is hurting. Offering support to others, or simply listening, can help not only them, but also ourselves to heal. Learning to accept suffering doesn't mean we become passive or complacent in our lives. It means we face life's challenges with courage and openness. We don't avoid the difficult moments. We walk through them with mindfulness and patience. This is where true strength lies, in our ability to face hardship and continue moving forward. Through this, we develop resilience, and we learn that we are capable of enduring more than we ever thought possible. The key to embracing life's challenges is to shift our perspective. Instead of viewing suffering as something to be avoided at all costs, we begin to see it as a part of the beautiful tapestry of life. Each moment, whether joyous or painful, is part of our journey. We can learn to appreciate both, because without the struggles we wouldn't know the sweetness of success or the depth of love. Life's challenges bring us closer to understanding ourselves and our place in the world. One thing that can help us through times of difficulty is the practice of self-compassion. When we face our challenges, we often tend to be hard on ourselves, thinking that we should be stronger or more resilient. But it's important to remember that it's okay to not have all the answers, and it's okay to not always be okay. Self-compassion allows us to acknowledge our feelings without judgment and to give ourselves the kindness and understanding we need to heal. In addition to self-compassion, finding support from others is crucial. We don't have to go through tough times alone. Whether it's talking to a friend, seeking professional help, or simply reaching out to those who understand, the act of sharing our pain and experiences with others can lighten the load. The human connection is powerful, and it can help us heal in ways that we may not even realize at first. So, as we go through life's inevitable ups and downs, let's remind ourselves to approach each challenge with patience, self-compassion, and an open heart. The suffering we experience can become the fertile ground for growth and transformation. We don't need to fear pain. We simply need to learn how to work with it and find the wisdom that it offers. Each experience is an opportunity to become stronger, kinder, and more compassionate. Now, if this resonates with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever had an experience where you turned suffering into an opportunity for growth? Or maybe you're going through a challenging time now. Know that you're not alone. Please share your story with us. And if you've enjoyed this video and find these reflections helpful, take a moment to subscribe to the channel. Let's continue to explore these topics together. You're a part of this community, and we'd love to have you with us as we grow and reflect on life. Letting go is one of the most powerful practices we can adopt in our lives. It may seem simple, but it's often one of the most difficult things to do. We live in a world that encourages attachment to our possessions, our relationships, and even to our ideas of who we are or who we should be. But in truth, attachment is a major source of suffering. We become so tied to things, people, and even expectations that we forget to breathe freely. The practice of letting go is not about abandoning the things we care about, but rather about releasing the grip that these things have over us. It's about finding peace and freedom in the absence of clinging. In Buddhism, letting go is often referred to as the practice of non-attachment, a way of living that allows us to embrace life's natural flow without being held back by our desires and fears. The truth is that nothing in life is permanent, and trying to hold on to something forever only creates pain. When we let go, we are not giving up or resigning ourselves to a loss. Instead, we are acknowledging that change is inevitable. Everything in life, including our relationships and our possessions, is in a constant state of transformation. When we let go, we make space for new things to come into our lives, for new experiences, and for growth. This space allows us to live more fully, without being weighed down by the past or the fear of the future. In letting go, we also release the expectations that we have about how things should be. We often become attached to specific outcomes, whether in our career, our personal life, or our relationships. When things don't unfold as we expect, we can feel frustrated or disappointed. However, when we practice letting go, we stop holding on to rigid expectations and start embracing the flow of life as it is, with all its surprises and unpredictability. One of the most common forms of attachment is to our own identities. We become attached to the idea of who we think we are or who we want to be. This attachment can lead to insecurity and fear of change, but the truth is, our identity is not fixed. It's an evolving process. When we let go of the need to control who we are, we can begin to embrace the freedom that comes with being fluid, open to new experiences, and willing to let life shape us. Letting go doesn't mean giving up on our dreams or not caring about our goals. It means letting go of the fear that we are defined by these things. It's about learning to live with an open heart, ready to accept whatever comes, without clinging to the outcome. This freedom is the key to living a life of true happiness and peace. This practice is not just about big moments of change, like ending a relationship or letting go of a job. It's about the small moments of release in our daily lives. Letting go of the need to be perfect, letting go of old grudges, letting go of the fear of failure, letting go of control. These small daily releases allow us to live more authentically and to cultivate a deep sense of peace. In Buddhism, letting go is also closely linked to the concept of impermanence, the understanding that everything is constantly changing. When we realize that nothing stays the same forever, we can begin to appreciate life's fleeting beauty. Each moment, whether it is one of joy or sorrow, is a gift. By letting go, we can experience life in its fullness, knowing that each experience is just a passing wave in the ocean of time. The practice of letting go also helps us to become less attached to the opinions of others. We often live our lives based on what others think of us, constantly seeking approval or validation. When we release this attachment, we begin to live more freely and authentically. We don't need to prove ourselves to anyone because we are already enough. We can let go of the need for external validation and find validation within ourselves. This freedom from attachment also extends to our material possessions. We live in a consumer-driven world that constantly tells us that more is better. However, this endless pursuit of accumulation only leads to more desire, more dissatisfaction. When we let go of our attachment to material things, we create space for contentment and gratitude for what we already have. We realize that true happiness does not come from accumulating more, but from appreciating the present moment and the simple things in life. Letting go is also a practice of self-compassion. It means letting go of the guilt and shame that we carry from past mistakes or missed opportunities. It means forgiving ourselves for not being perfect, for not meeting every expectation we set for ourselves. When we release these burdens, we open up space for healing, growth, and self-love. Letting go of our self-judgment allows us to fully embrace who we are, flaws and all. In the end, letting go is not about losing anything. It's about gaining everything. When we let go of what no longer serves us, whether it's material possessions, unhealthy relationships, rigid expectations, or old patterns of thought, we make room for new possibilities. We free ourselves to live with more joy, peace, and openness. By letting go, we discover that we are enough just as we are, and we can trust the natural flow of life to guide us to where we need to be. As you reflect on this practice of letting go, consider how it might apply to your own life. Is there something you're holding on to too tightly? Something that's preventing you from living fully? Letting go doesn't mean losing, but gaining freedom. I'd love to hear what you think about this practice. Share your thoughts with us in the comments. How has letting go impacted your life? And if you're enjoying the journey of self-discovery and personal growth through this content, please subscribe to the channel. Let's continue this exploration together, creating space for more wisdom and peace. Gratitude is one of the most transformative practices we can bring into our lives. It is a way of seeing the world that opens our hearts and changes the way we interact with everything around us. In our fast-paced, goal-driven world, it's easy to forget to stop and appreciate what we already have. We tend to focus on what's missing, what's next, or what needs to be fixed, instead of pausing to appreciate the present moment. Yet, gratitude is not only about recognizing the good things in our lives, but also about recognizing the lessons we learn from the challenges. Buddhism teaches that gratitude is an essential part of finding peace and happiness. It helps us to shift our mindset from one of scarcity to one of abundance. When we practice gratitude, we start to notice all the things we already have: our health, the people who care about us, the opportunities that come our way, and even the simple joys of daily life. This shift in perspective can radically change how we experience life. It invites us to be present, to savor what we have, and to recognize the richness of our existence, even in the midst of difficulties. Gratitude also brings us closer to the truth of impermanence, the understanding that nothing lasts forever. It reminds us to appreciate the fleeting moments we have, because they are precious and unique. Whether it's the warmth of the sun on our face, the laughter of a friend, or a quiet moment of reflection, gratitude helps us recognize that life is made up of these small, beautiful moments. And while these moments may be brief, they hold a value that is immeasurable. Another powerful aspect of gratitude is that it opens us up to the present moment. When we are grateful, we stop looking back at the past or worrying about the future. We become more present in our interactions, more connected to our surroundings, and more mindful of the people we share our lives with. Gratitude invites us to see the beauty in what is right in front of us, not what we wish for or hope for, but what we already have. Acceptance is closely tied to gratitude. In order to truly appreciate life, we must first accept it as it is, with all of its imperfections. Acceptance does not mean resignation or complacency. It means recognizing that life, with all its ups and downs, is exactly as it should be at this moment. By accepting life as it is, we stop resisting the things we cannot change and allow ourselves to experience the full richness of what is before us. Acceptance also frees us from the need for control. We often try to control our circumstances, our relationships, and even ourselves. This desire for control comes from a place of fear of uncertainty, fear of not measuring up, fear of the unknown. But when we practice acceptance, we let go of that fear. We stop fighting against life and start flowing with it. We trust that everything, even the challenges and obstacles, is part of a greater process. By accepting what comes, we can approach each situation with openness and wisdom. Letting go of control and embracing acceptance also deepens our sense of peace. When we stop fighting against the flow of life, we become more at ease. We realize that we don't need to have everything figured out right now, that it's okay to not know the answers, and that it's okay to simply be where we are. This peace comes from knowing that everything will unfold as it should, in its own time. In moments of difficulty or pain, acceptance allows us to stop struggling against the current. Instead of wishing for things to be different, we can embrace what is. We can find meaning in the challenges we face, knowing that they are an integral part of our journey. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up on our dreams or aspirations, but rather embracing the idea that we can live fully, even in the midst of uncertainty. Gratitude and acceptance together create a powerful foundation for inner peace. They allow us to be more present, to see the beauty in the mundane, and to accept life's ebb and flow with grace. By cultivating these two qualities, we can find joy in the everyday moments and develop a deeper sense of connection to ourselves, to others, and to the world around us. As we move forward, let's remember that we are constantly evolving. Each moment of our lives, whether it's filled with joy or hardship, is an opportunity for growth and learning. Through gratitude, we learn to appreciate the present moment, and through acceptance, we find peace in the midst of life's impermanence. Together, they create a life that is richer, fuller, and more aligned with the natural flow of existence. Now, as you reflect on this final lesson, I encourage you to pause and think about what you are truly grateful for today. How can you bring more gratitude into your daily life? And in the moments when things don't go as planned, can you practice acceptance and find peace with what is? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please feel free to share in the comments. Let's continue the conversation and support each other on this journey. If you've enjoyed this video and the insights we've shared, I'd love for you to subscribe to the channel. Your presence here means so much, and together we can continue to explore these valuable lessons in life. By subscribing, you ensure that we keep growing and learning together. Thank you for being here, for sharing this moment, and for embracing the teachings with an open heart. Until next time, take care and live with love and gratitude.